Welcome to my conversation with Dr Jill Collett. I'm Julia Lindsay, iOpener's CEO. Jill is my colleague and a partner at iOpener. Jill was trained at the Oxford Mindfulness Centre and has many years' experience as a mindfulness practitioner. Jill, morning. Can we kick off by exploring what mindfulness is and what it isn't?
Well, mindfulness is often described as a way of bringing your full attention into the present moment. And the reason this is important for us is that we fully experience our lives as they unfold moment by moment. You know, some people say we only have moments to live, and it's true, each moment. And this skillful awareness allows us to be open and curious about our experiences, and also gives us a space within which we can make wise choices about how we act. It's a kind of training, partly a training of the mind. It increases focus and so on. So it's a disciplined activity, and it comes much in the same way as working a muscle at the gym. It comes through practice and discipline.
And how do you think happiness at work and mindfulness are related?
Well, they're strongly related actually, because the happiness performance model that we know so well at iOpener, a lot of the outcomes that we look for with that are based on positive psychology, and actually practicing mindfulness builds a lot of those key skills. So we know from the research that mindfulness increases resilience, for example. And that's particularly important to us in the world we live in nowadays, isn't it? For a lot of the senior teams that we're working with, the CEOs that I coach, they're having to cope with a lot. So increased resilience, a sense of solidity and steadiness as life throws its slings and arrows at you, as is ever increasing pressure on the bottom line, is really important. But we also know that mindfulness increases the ability to be innovative and creative, and it enhances relationships, and that's particularly important for leaders and for teams and for collaboration, which again, in this difficult, challenging world that we live in for our clients, is really important to have collaboration and creativity and so on. So they're very complementary.
And have you come across organisations that are actually implementing the discipline processes of mindfulness?
Yes, there's actually quite a few already who are doing this, some very big international ones. I'd say mindfulness started about 10 years, 15 years before it did in the UK, taking off in the States. And so there are big IT companies like Apple, Google. I mean, Google has mindfulness offices in all its different locations across the world. Quite a number of the financial sector now are implementing mindfulness, big engineering companies. And then you get it down at the individual level too. So world-class musicians, world-class athletes, quite a number of them are using mindfulness to increase their performance and focus. And yeah, so it's being used quite widely now.
So for an organisation wanting to improve focus and performance, what advice would you have for them?
Try it out. And there are various ways they can do that. They can do it through a taster session, just finding out a little bit more about it. But mindfulness really, it's something we need to practice. You need to experience it. You can't just understand it with your head. So in the same way as you don't get physically fit from just reading about it or thinking about it, sadly, it's the same with mindfulness. You need to practice it. So maybe a taster session to find out a bit more about it, and that also would give them some indication of the level, the gold standard research that's been done into mindfulness. So this is probably about the best researched intervention that you could implement in your organisation. So another way of doing it is for senior teams to experience it, and we would work collaboratively with them to implement, again, a gold standard method of mindfulness within their team. And once they've seen the benefits, then it's very likely that they would want to go on and implement it within the organisation. So there are lots of different ways, and of course at iOpener we like to work very collaboratively, very much in partnership, and also strategically with our clients, so that we can help a culture change, not just little bits here and there.
Fascinating stuff. Thank you, Jill.
You're very welcome.